It's always a pleasure to be here in Romania and in Bucharest in particular. And this conference and this panel could not be more timely, as the future of European security truly does face a perfect storm. For a quarter of a century, Europe has been a place of relative calm after the lifting of the Iron Curtain and the end of Cold War tensions. During that time, our countries have united in friendship on the basis of shared values through organizations like the European Union and NATO. Our economies have flourished and our peoples have forged lasting bonds in ways that were almost considered impossible. And throughout that time, we made a sincere effort to make a democratic Russia an integral part of our Euro-Atlantic community. But today, that benign security environment is threatened. Today, for the first time in NATO's history, we face long-term strategic challenges from two directions. To our east, an increasingly assertive and aggressive Russia, a Russia that rejects Euro-Atlantic values and seeks to undermine the foundations of the post-Cold War order. And to our south, we face the chaos and violence of failed and failing states and the rise of extremist groups such as ISIL, trends that could lead to the breakdown of the century-old Arab state system. So this is NATO's new strategic reality. But NATO is stepping up to these challenges. Allies are demonstrating that we stand together. During NATO's Wales summit last year, our leaders committed to arresting the decline in our defense budgets and increasing defense spending towards 2% of GDP as our economies grow. There's still a long way to go, but already there are promising signs, with many allies, including Romania, moving in the right direction. This will require a sustained effort and a long-term commitment by all allies, not only to invest more, but to invest in the right capabilities. It requires a fair sharing of the burden of providing assurance measures in the East, at sea, in the air, and on the ground, as well as being prepared to engage in out-of-area operations and missions if they become necessary. Our political commitment and our unity are every bit as important as the adaptation of our defense and deterrence posture. And there have been many significant developments in this area. The backbone of NATO's military adaptation is the Readiness Action Plan, or the RAP. There has been intense work on the RAP since Wales, and with impressive results. As you know, the key part of our RAP, our Very High Readiness Joint Task Force, or Spearhead Force, is now operational, and it's able to deploy within a matter of days. The NATO Response Force is more than doubling to around 40,000 troops that can come to the defense of any ally under threat from the east or the south. We've opened 6 new command and control and logistics headquarters on the territory of our eastern allies, including one here in Romania, and there are 2 more on the way. We've significantly increased the size and scope of our exercises to heighten our readiness and provide reassurance and deterrence. But just implementing the Wales decisions is not enough. As we head towards our Warsaw Summit next July, we must look to the future and to the long-term adaptation of the alliance. We need to develop a long-term strategy that ensures we can effectively deter any adversary, and one that equips us to counter the full range of potential threats and challenges from wherever they may come. Our Warsaw Summit will be an opportunity to take stock of Russia's actions and to assess the future of the NATO-Russia relationship, including what we can do to restore predictability and transparency at a time when Russia seems more interested in shocking, surprising, and intimidating than in calming and building confidence. Most importantly, we will need to ask hard questions about what it takes to deter an assertive Russia that seeks to go back to the days of spheres of influence, when great powers claim the right to change borders by force and to limit the sovereign choices of their neighbors. The RAP is a solid foundation, but to effectively deter a revanchist Russia, we will need to go beyond the RAP. We'll need to discuss how NATO can reinforce our eastern allies in the face of Russian anti-access and area denial tactics. Now, this is especially important in the Baltics and here in the Black Sea region. And indeed, Russia's annexation and militarization of the Crimean Peninsula has changed the game in the Black Sea. with long-term strategic implications. We're currently looking closely at what those implications are and how we can mitigate against them. And with Russia's more recent moves to build up military forces in Syria, this is now becoming an issue in the Eastern Mediterranean as well. Ensuring effective deterrence will require an honest assessment of our requirements for the pre-positioning of equipment, enablers, and potentially additional forward stationing of combat units on a rotational basis. We also need to further develop our resilience against potential hybrid attacks. This means better sharing of intelligence, identifying potential vulnerabilities, better strategies to defeat cyber attacks, and working more closely with other international organizations, the European Union in particular. Now, having said all this, let me stress that a stronger defense of NATO allies cannot be the whole answer. If we want our alliance to be secure, then our neighborhoods must be stable. And that currently is one thing that they are definitely not. We need to invest far more in our partnerships to support our neighbors' ability to better defend themselves, to contain extremist forces, and to bring stability to their regions. They say an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and this is very much the case here. We must help our neighbors in the East who are the targets of Russian interference and intimidation, so that they can stand their ground and preserve their sovereignty. And we must help our partners in the South to combat extremism, to fight ISIL, and to bring some degree of calm to the explosive atmosphere of the Middle East and North Africa. NATO has many tools which can help in this regard. Our experience with helping nations to reform their security sectors and to build up their defense capacity have the potential to make a huge difference. But for that to happen, we need to invest far more in these programs than we do now. I think this is one of the main challenges for our leaders in the run-up to the Warsaw Summit. And when we're here in Romania, and when we think of helping our partners, we cannot help but think first of Moldova. Through NATO's Defense Capacity Building Initiative, we're helping Moldova with fundamental defense reforms and a strategic assessment of the threats to its national security. This will provide a basis for identifying the capabilities that the Moldovans need to ensure their security within their limited resources. We're also helping Moldova with cybersecurity, increasing the transparency and accountability of its defense sector, and improving its professional military education and training. Moldova is not seeking NATO membership, but NATO is helping Moldova to chart its own course, to set its own foreign policy, and to provide for its own security. So, ladies and gentlemen, the world has become a far less stable and secure place remarkably quickly, but NATO has responded remarkably quickly as well. We will continue to adapt our alliance so that it can ensure our collective defense and bolster the stability of our region for the long haul. So I very much look forward to our discussion this morning. Thank you very much.